I think I'll go ahead and introduce Shagun. And if Shrishti is here, I'll introduce Shrishti too. But anyhow, um, really delighted that Shagun has agreed to lead this training to just talk about some of the key elements of a successful campaign, social media post, how to get there, and some considerations as you're building your visual, your written message, and a little bit about Shagun and Gutenberg. Gutenberg has been our ad agency for about 4 years, I'm going to guess. And Shagun is in charge of digital media. Um, she's been in the field for over 11 years and has worked with groups like Motorola, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Cisco, and Google India. So we're delighted to have her. Shrishti is our account representative. She has been through 2 India Giving Days with us and probably similar youth essay competitions. She'll be on the line shortly. And with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Shagun to get started.
Thank you so much, Peg. Before I deep dive into what we have for today, can everyone see my screen, what I'm sharing, and my voice is clear, audible for everyone? Okay, perfect. So, like Peg mentioned, what we've done is that we've tried to just get some best practices for specifically for the nonprofit industries, catering to different objectives, etc., as to how they can function on social media. What are the guidelines? What are the base level hygiene checks that any and all of you should keep in mind while you're doing a campaign or you're posting something on your social media handles? Or you're planning to do something in the future as well. So, just a quick overview. This is what we'll be covering today. We'll, of course, go through some key guidelines as to what makes a good social media post. How do we use our logos, our color palettes, and our brand fonts correctly to maintain a consistency over different campaigns and different creatives that we put forward? We'll also do a quick and a short demo of us using Canva in terms of how we can create certain posts. They're very easy to get done on Canva. Everyone can have free access. Nonprofits can also sign up for the paid version. There's a link. I'll take you through all of those details, and of course, a quick deep dive into certain call to actions, as we call them CTAs, which basically clearly gives your end consumer or your end target audience a clear view of what you want them to do. What action do you want them to take when they look at your creative or when they read something that you're posting online? Before I move forward, just feel free to stop me anywhere if anybody has a question. I'll be happy to, answer them right now or when we're done with the deck. But absolutely anything, nothing's off like topic today when it comes to social media. Anything that's not covered on this deck as well, in case you want to have a chat a little bit later, I'll be happy to stay back and we can have a conversation about that. So, a quick overview of why do we recommend social media and why does it matter specifically for nonprofits, right? First, of course, it's a very cost effective method. We don't necessarily have to pay money to be on social media. We don't necessarily have to boost our ads with a budget to get that audience. If we've been building our community, if we've been engaging with them, social media can be a great marketing tool which is available for all of us for free in the long run as well. If we start building something right now, sooner or later in the coming weeks, in the coming years, you'll see the result by, of course, ensuring that there is enough community that is building around your brand, your nonprofit. You are speaking to the right set of people, the right set of target audience. You are creating engagement within your community. This could be about people sharing ideas, about any fundraising efforts that either of the nonprofits wants to go forward. Of course, it is also really easy way for any one of us to amplify our brand or our non-profit's mission, right? While we exist, a certain group of people know about us. The larger group of people might not know about our existence or what we do, what our impact is, what do we work in, what fields do we cover. So all of that can be covered very easily through very simple and consistent communication on social media. A quick deep dive into what makes a great post at the end of the day. There are very clear guidelines for everybody and anybody to follow through. One, of course, that whatever images that we're using, if we're using real life images, if we're using images from, let's say, any online platform, we have purchased images or we've done a photo shoot, we just have to make sure that all of those images are high quality. There is no blur happening on any of the images. The colors are correct and the usage of those images are relevant to your brand. Second is always ensure that there is clear and concise messaging. A bigger copy doesn't always ensure that you're saying the right thing. You can say the same thing within one sentence or two sentences. If you see the example on your extreme left, which is a recent creative that we had put forward for the youth essay competition that is taken care by the IPA group, there isn't a lot of copy. There is a very clear headline, your vision, your voice, your future. And then that's substituted with a secondary headline, which calls out that very clearly that this is the sixth annual youth essay competition. And then a hashtag, which is the campaign communication in a bold format where everyone can see, and the images depict the type of people we're going after, which is middle school, high school students. Similarly, for each of your nonprofits, the target audience, the end audience can differ. And most of these images are very easily available on Canva. You can also buy annual subscriptions to places like Shutterstock, Images Bazaar if you're dealing with anything in India. So there are multiple websites available online that give images for free and with a little bit of fees for, of course, using them online. The third point, like I called out, that any hashtag that you're going after or you're taking forward with your campaign, that has to be called out very prominently. Similar to the first example, if you see, yes, Rohit?
So is it like you talk about like taking subscription from Shutterstock and other websites? So is it not good to have the pictures of our own beneficiaries? That makes more connecting with the target audience rather than using picture from Shutterstocks or other websites.
So, Rohit, absolutely yes. We always encourage all nonprofits, or not just nonprofits, any brands that we have worked with in the past as well, to always have a repository of their own images bank, their real life images. But in every scenario, it's not possible, right? For example, if you look at the image that's used in the middle, that's a creative we had put forward with our messaging and campaign that we were running for India Giving Day that concluded in March. So there is limitation for all the brands giving us real life images, right? That does restrict us to of course, reusing images, which doesn't bring out a very good visual look and feel. If I go to your Facebook page, for example, if I see the same image getting repeated with different messages every 2 3 days, me as an end user probably won't be that enticed by, oh, they're probably saying the same thing, let me just skip it. It's always uh, suggested that your images vary depending on, of course, what your objectives are at the end of the day. If you're dealing with 10 different things, then always make sure that you have multiple images for those 10 different things that you're dealing with. So a good mix of images that the brand owns, that the nonprofit owns, plus something that you can easily get online or purchase or create now. AI is great right now, right? We can create a lot of images that are unique, free to use for social media, and keep that, interest up and running with our viewers who are looking out for content on our pages if we're posting regularly. I hope that
Agreed.
answers your query.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, perfect. So, just recapping the third point, we were talking about hashtags. So, any campaign or any communication that we derive on, let's say I wanna put forward a certain level of messaging on social media. I always have to make sure that that messaging, sorry, is supported by relevant hashtags. For example, on the left, the extreme left creative, if you see the yellow box that says hashtag future by you, that is our campaign communication for the youth essay competition for this year. In the middle, if you see the red box, the maroon box, Act for Impact, that was our campaign communication and the campaign lead hashtag for India Giving Day 2025. So every year when we do new campaigns, we of course keep our learnings from previous years in mind, seeing what worked, what didn't work. And when you start running campaigns, you see that certain hashtags are getting better visibility. People are looking out for them. People, if I click on Act for Impact on Facebook, then all my posts that I've posted with this hashtag will be visible there. So you can always create kind of a like a loop cycle of people revisiting your content, not without necessarily visiting your page as well. Similar, this functions works really well on Instagram as well. And of course, fourth is CTA, like I mentioned, call to action. We always have to be clear about with whatever messaging we're putting forward, we have to be very clear, ensuring that the end person, whoever is seeing my post, whoever is reading my material, knows what action I want them to take. It could be about just telling them that we're back, it's our sixth year, right? Or India Giving Day website is open, register your nonprofits or check your eligibility. Or extreme right, if you see the creative, we were promoting a blog that Alex wrote. So we made it very clear that this is our headline, which is about redefining fundraising. And what do we need you to do? We need you to read the blog by Alex Counts. And this, of course, in your post copy, the copy that goes with the creative will be substituted with the link that will take you to that blog or take you to that website. So you're ensuring that anybody who's seeing your visuals, anybody who's reading your post will definitely know that, oh, this, I'm interested in this. What do I do next? I know what I need to do next. Okay. Just moving on to the next slide. Here, we'll just quickly review a couple of hygiene pointers about logos. All brands, all nonprofits have logos, right? I'm very sure you guys, all of you on this call today, do have certain set of guidelines with your logo in terms of these are the colors, or this is how my logo looks like, and this is the logo I need to use on any and all collaterals that I put forward, not just on social media. Now, with social media, there are just very basic three things we always need to be careful about. One is your logo placement. We can place the logo anywhere. Let's say if I have a square creative, for example, just moving back to the previous slide for an easier reference. If you see here, all these three creatives are for IPA. While the middle one is for India Giving Day, which that entity has a logo of its own. But if it was for IPA, we would have placed the logo either on the extreme left top, extreme right top, or at the center. These are the guidelines we made when we started working on this brand while we were defining a visual identity. Nowhere on any of our brand creatives you will see the logo anywhere in between or the left hand side, bottom, anywhere bottom center, bottom right. For us, these are the guidelines that we follow. For other brands, this doesn't have to be restricted. But let's say if you're choosing certain guidelines that I will always place my logo on the top right hand side, then follow through that to ensure that there is consistency and there is brand building. Immediately, when someone will see your creatives, they'll know, oh, this is about this brand, or they'll be able to recollect that, yes, I'm looking at an IPA post because I know that their logo is always in the same spot and they play around with the same color palette, which are their brand guidelines. Second is we need to be sure about using the correct versions of your logo. Every logo might have different variations in terms of It could be a black and white color logo supported by a slight colored version of the logo. If for your nonprofit, if for your brand that stands true, just ensure that you are using the correct versions of those colors. If you're using one color, for example, with the IPA logo again, there are only these two colors that we utilize, right? Which are the blue and the green. There is no other third color that you will see introduced in this palette until and unless we go through a rebranding exercise and we change our look and feel over everything else. Apart from these two colors, there hasn't been a third color introduced in the logo, nor in the coming future we would want to introduce a third color in the logo unless our objectives change. So from that perspective, always be sure that if you're using the black logo is used throughout. If there is a secondary color palette in your logo, then that secondary color palette logo is used throughout with the mixture of black. You can do either or, you don't necessarily have to stick to one color. But if you're doing two variations, then we will definitely stick to those two variations only. And the third one is more from a visual aspect. Whenever there's a busier background or you feel that, your creative is very text heavy or you're putting in a lot of information, always ensure that there is certain things that are blurred out in the background so your logo can stand out. It doesn't merge with the image. I'll go back very quickly. Sorry for moving back, like front and back on the slides, but if we can all see it visually, I think we all would remember it much better. So on the left-hand side, if you see the green creative, the one that has a green background, I couldn't have placed the IPA logo without that white box on the green background, right? The green and the blue, they're not complementary colors. They don't support each other. So basis our brand guidelines, we can use that blue, the white shadow behind it and make the logo stand out. In the middle creative, while my the second half, the lower half of the picture is really bright and it's standing out, we made sure that we blur the background on the top so so that the India Giving Day logo stands out. It's not merging. You can see it clearly with the colors. And on the right, it was easy, right? Because we are using a white background and we made sure we place it on the right of the creative because on the left, we have visuals. We have those icons showing. So on the extreme right hand side creative, I wouldn't have placed the logo on the left hand side. The ideal placement was top right. So similar to how we make creatives, depending on what visuals we're using, what colors we're going ahead with, are those colors interfering with our logo color? The person who's making the creatives will have to take a call with every creative. There are no set rules. It will just be dependent on what color is correct and what color is a complementary or an opposite color. So here again, something that I was just talking about, the basic colors and what colors and secondary colors go against each other. So choosing the right color for your campaigns is very, very important. Not just for your campaign, I think even for your brand. In all the brand guidelines that we work with, we always have a set of primary colors, which can be one or two main brand colors. In the case of IPA, our main brand colors are blue and green. But over time, with every campaign, we have tried to develop a secondary color palette, colors that reflect on green and blue. Okay, so those are your secondary colors. Secondary colors don't have to be set in stone. Bases your brand understanding and what you're putting forward in your creatives. The secondary colors can keep changing depending on your campaign. If you want to create a stark difference between visuals about multiple campaigns that you might be running. For example, again, taking an example of IPA, we do two major campaigns in a year. One is the Youth Essay campaign and the second is the India Giving Day campaign, right? For us, for both those campaigns, our primary colors remain the same, which are blue and green, which are the colors of our logo. Bases our communication, bases a certain visual theme, etc., that we crack for those campaigns, we go ahead by using certain secondary colors to ensure that whoever is coming on these pages will definitely, after 5 to 7 seconds, they'll know that these are different campaigns. They don't have to deep dive into information. Just by a visual look and feel, they'll be able to figure out that, oh, this is probably something else, and this is what I'm interested in. In terms of certain colors, there is certain psychology also behind usage of certain colors. So, for example, blue, a lot of people related to trust, related to, honesty. Green is seen as a symbol of growth, something that's, showcasing improvement or something that wants to create an impact. And red is used in more of an urgency or like, flash over there that please see sort of a thing. Of course, that on the right hand side, you can see there's a very basic color wheel. Of course, these colors expand a lot more with their variations of a little bit white here and there. But let's take an example from this color wheel. If my brand's primary color palette is purple, what colors can I use with purple so my text stands out, my call to action button stands out? It's very easy. If I go completely opposite to purple, I can go anywhere between the orange to the yellow orange circle. All of these three wheels of colors will stand out. If you use anything from a lighter green palette with purple, not gonna read. No, it's not gonna be readable. And we also have to make sure that there are certain basic accessibility guidelines. For example, there are people who are who have issues in seeing clearly between blues, greens, reds, etc. Right? So we always have to make sure that our contrast is not too much. When I say contrast is, for example, I would not recommend putting yellow text on a purple background. It's going to hurt your eyes. It's going to hurt our eyes. It's going to hurt everyone else's eyes. So I would rather suggest that use whites, use a little bit of a beige. You can use a little bit of a cream included in that color. Orange also on a lighter tone, yes, but not a bright orange. People will be able to read, but at the end of the day, apart from reading, we also need to create that sense of calmness, right? Considering that we're nonprofits and we want to make sure that our messaging is going out with a little bit of an emotional impact. So, to ensure that the person who's seeing our creatives, to create that emotional bond with them, to showcase them that, we're here to help, we're trying to do something better for someone or some country or something in the world, right? We're trying to create a difference. So just always make sure that at least for the nonprofit industry, we play around with lighter colors, no stark color showing up. Even if you're using brighter colors, we should use images that dial down that color. Yeah. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, so again, we have some great examples from our own campaign, the India Giving Day campaign. So what we'll deep dive into now is your typography, which are the fonts. Every brand should technically, when they start with their social media communication or they start with any designing materials, should select 2 to 3 fonts that they will follow through for all of their communications. And this could be relevant for social media, this could be relevant for any print collaterals that you do, even the font that you use in your emails. It's as simple as that. It just builds consistency. It just builds that connect with people who see your communication, either online, offline, anywhere where you're putting your brand forward with certain messaging. So again, quick deep dive into this would be that, let's say if you take the creative on the left as an example, it has one headline, which is the headline which is in maroon, turn your passion into impact. It has a secondary headline which says fundraise in your unique way, and a very clear hashtag act for impact. There are there are 2 fonts that have been used in this creative. One for the headline, which is turn your passion into impact. Second font is for fundraise in your own unique way. And the same font that we used for our main headline has been replicated for the hashtag. The creative in the middle as well, if you see, our headline, which is start your fundraising journey now, is the same font that we've used for turn your passion into impact. And the same font that we've used for the third creative that we can see on screen, which is welcoming Nitin Madan as an IGD ambassador. And all your secondary headlines, which is fundraise in your unique way, every effort counts, and that little paragraph under the third creative, all of them are the same font. All your three boxes, which call out Act for Impact, the hashtag, the color combination, and the font is the same, because that is the consistency we're trying to create with this campaign visually and even verbally. When someone reads it, you'll see a certain flow in your copy. You'll see how the hashtag is always given a stark, brightness to just make sure that it's standing out. Automatically people start resonating that, oh, India Giving Day this year, Act for Impact, right? So in case any brand that doesn't have a set font, sans serif is something that's available for free and it's very widely used. You can just do a Google search saying that download this font and you'll get the files on your system. It works perfectly fine on Windows and Mac. And this is something that can be replicated on Canva as well. This font is already available on Canva. So if you're creating your creatives on Canva, you can easily select that font and keep building on your channels. Any questions here before I move forward? Okay, I think we're good. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Now we're moving on to just discussing call to actions. Call to actions, like I mentioned at the starting of the call, is something that we always have to make sure, even if it's an informational post, like I don't want the user to go to my website. I just want to tell them something that, hi, we're doing this, just watch out. I don't want them to go to the website. I don't want them to download anything. I still have to be very clear in terms of what thought am I provoking in the end user's mind when I'm putting these creatives out. For example, on the left-hand side, if you see the creative from India Giving Day, we've made it very clear that this is something that you don't want to miss out on. It's a webinar. It's your last chance to register. And then you've also very clearly mentioned the date and time. So anyone who sees this creative, of course, supported with the post copy, will know that, oh, if I want to do a class with Chef Saira, then I need to register for it. And the class is on Sunday, March 2nd at 11 a.m. And they'll, of course, have a link to go to that they can go and register. On the second creative, this was a countdown post where we're telling people that, 2 days left to go, 1 day left to go, X number of hours left to go. So while the visual of this man and the old man still stands out, we've ensured that the number 2, which is how many days are left to go, is highlighted in the background well enough for the person reading it will automatically say, oh, 2 days to go. And then they'll have a link that they can keep with them, that after 2 days I need to go here, or I just need to make sure that we're adding that urgency that come on guys, like 1 day left to go, a couple of hours for our program to start, or dinner to start, etc., whatever our objective is at the end of the day. And on the right hand side is somewhere where we were focusing on call for sponsorships. So our headline very clearly calls that out, very simply calls that out, that call for sponsorships for India Giving Day 2025. And then in the bottom, we've made sure that of course, we call out when will India Giving Day be in March in 2025. So we've called that day out. We've showcased our hashtag, which was Act for Impact. And we've also called out deadline for anybody wanting to apply for these. So sorry, for anybody who wants to take that action, they'll automatically see and be like, okay, I know the deadline is October 31st, and I know that India Giving Day will happen on March 14th in 2025. Yeah. So be direct, be very, very clear in terms of what you want the user to do. We also need to make sure that if there is any urgency, that X number of days left or X number of hours left, we call that out upfront in bold. And always make sure that your CTAs, your call to actions, are visible. They're not somewhere in a corner that you can't see them, or, there's a lot of copy and the timeline and the dates are getting mixed up within all of that. Just make very sure that they're always easily located on any creative. We do have some call to actions that work really well for the nonprofit industry. And these set of 4 to 5, the more than 4 to 5, the set of call to actions that you see on the screen can be used repetitively. You don't necessarily have to come up with a new call to action. If you want someone to go to the website, you can as clearly say visit the website with each and every post that you put forward. We don't have to invent newer call to actions. You want someone to go to the video, all you need to do is say watch our video and put the link. Learn more about us, like our project, contact us, here is the form, fill the form, subscribe to our channel. If there's anything to be downloaded, your call to action can be as simple as download here or download link. So as clear as our messaging is, the last action that you're assuming that your audience will take, that'll just be much easier for them. Yeah. Okay. Now, fun part. I love this exercise. So, like I mentioned, we'll do a small demo on Canva. So on Canva, there are multiple ways to sign up. One, of course, there is a free sign up with limited access to multiple things that are available on the Canva universe. Second is if you already have a paid account, then congratulations, you have access to everything that they have to offer. Third is also an idea that Peg actually made me figure out yesterday. I wasn't aware of it until yesterday. Is that Canva offers free subscription, like a paid version of the free version of the paid subscription to nonprofits. There's a specific link. There is a form that they require all of you to fill. They will, of course, ask certain details about your nonprofit, registration number, etc., depending on the geography that you all belong to. And basis that, once they just quickly review over your details, they will give you free access to the paid version of the tool. It's a very easy form. I unfortunately could not go beyond a step, certain steps in the form. But I've put the link here. We'll, of course, share the link with all of you. And if you have all of your nonprofit details, then I would just suggest please go sign up for the paid version. It has limitless possibilities for you to make statics, videos with voiceovers, everything that would require for you to run your social media handles. Yeah. I'm going to change my screen very quickly so we can move on to the Canvas screen. Give me one moment. Yes. Can everyone look at my screen? Can everyone see Canva? Yeah, okay, perfect. So this is how it opens. Of course, what's new might be different for all of you, but any login you go through, this will be your first screen. Now, people who are probably using this for the first time, I would recommend them to use the templates. All you need to do is write nonprofit templates and wait for a second. You can also deep dive into, if you want certain categories. Let's say I want to make an Instagram post and I want to keep it elegant. There are multiple styles to choose from: modern, minimalistic, simple, elegant, happy. Let's go ahead with elegant. I'm searching for nonprofit templates that would fit an Instagram post and they should look elegant. So if I scroll down, you will be able to see multiple creatives or formats that you can click and you can edit. Let's take this one. This one looks a little bit more professional. I've selected this. I'll click on customize this template. Yeah. All good, everyone on the same screen till now? Perfect. Now, what do I need to do? I don't want to mention their website. I want to mention my website. Let's say www.xyz. I just have to click on the text. I'm able to edit the text. If I want to change the font, I double click. I click here. I can select my fonts. I can upload fonts as well if I have a paid version, or I can select the fonts that are already in the system. I can change the font. I can increase the text size. I can make it bold. Similar to how we have that toolbar on a Word document, this works very, very similar to that. I can underline something. I can strike out something. I can change the color. There are multiple colors available here. If you want, if you have a particular color code, you can put that as well. Otherwise, it'll show you all the colors that are relevant for this particular template. Now, for example, I don't want these dots because I want to create some space for my brand logo, right? I want to put my logo somewhere. So all I need to do is select it. It's here. I select it and I press delete, or I click on this icon. Yeah. Now, how do I add my logo? On the left-hand side, you need to click on uploads. Make sure your logo is on your desktop or your laptop that you're working on. Click on upload files. I have the IPA logo. I'm going to select that. I'm going to load it onto the system here. It'll take a couple of seconds. This logo is available. For me to add this logo here, I click on it and it's here. I make the size smaller and I place it on the top right-hand side. Yeah. You can select your placement. You can use your keyboard. You can use your mouse. Now with the images, I need to change my image. Again, here, if I go here on elements, if you click on elements and you search for, let's say, any suggestions, team, let's say India. So if I write India, I'll get everything that is on Canva related to that keyword. It could be the map, it could be monuments, it could be the flag. Let's take Indian people, group of Indian people. It'll also give you suggestions. Yeah. So sorry, yeah, missing a thing. So when I click on the image, let's say I want to go ahead with this image on the left, all I need to do is I need to click on the image. It gets added here. And I need to make sure that this image is showcased in this circle. You just need to click on it and drop it in that circle and then arrange it accordingly. So it'll be, you can see the faces, basically. Not a great choice of picture for this creative, but let's try another one. Yeah. So I just picked it up and I just dropped it in that circle with my mouse and the image changed. Let's do that with another one as well here. And then if I want to change my headline, I click on this. Join us today. Yeah. So your copy, of course, could be anything. I don't have the best example for copy right now, but you want to change certain colors. Let's say I don't want this blue over here. You click on this element. You can see the blue here. Click on the blue and let's go ahead with yellow. You want to change the color of the circle. Select the circle. Select color. And let's go ahead with purple. So everything on this board is editable. The best thing is you can play around with it. If anything goes wrong, you just need to do a Command Z or a Control Z to move back. Nothing gets saved unless you download it. So this is one aspect. And then let's say I'm good with this creative. This is what I want to put forward. All I need to do is click on share and click on download. It'll give me a couple of options to download that image. If it's a static image, if there are no moving elements, then we recommend that you download a PNG file and let the other settings be, because this is the size we selected, this particular size for an Instagram post, and just click on download. It'll save that creative on your system automatically. And yeah. So for example, this is done, right? This is how it'll look at the end of the day. I can take this, I can post it on Facebook, I can post it on LinkedIn, I can share it on WhatsApp, I can share it anywhere. It's an online asset. Now, if you want to go a little bit ahead in terms of, let's say I want to add some animation. I don't want to make it a simple, just a static post. First, of course, there are two ways. One is that you've made a static, you want to add some animation. Click on your element. I want some animation with this picture. When I select this picture, you will get an option for animate over here. You need to click on it and it'll give you options here. See, every option, if I select, it'll show me what will happen. If I do wipe, if I blur, if I do succession. So there are multiple options that you can choose from. Let's do rise. I can select the speed. If I'm on a paid version, I can make sure that, it comes in slowly or it comes in really fast. If it comes from bottom to top or top to bottom, I can do all of that. Same, if I want to do the same to the other picture, I just select that image, create the same animation I did for the other one, and that's it. Now, this is what it is now. Yeah. So this was one way, of course, that you've created a static, you've added some slight animation. Text as well, if you want to animate your text, same process. Select your text, click on animate, and it'll give you options. Same. I want to create this. I'm just doing a typewriter effect. So now our images are animated, our text is animated. And we can add music as well. If you go to elements and you search for certain music, sorry, it was under tools, you can select a music file that's already there, or you can upload your own music file as well. If you have some music that, of course, has to be copyright free, that when I say copyright free, that you should have the license to use it online without anyone, creating an issue about it, you can upload your music files as well and embed that. So here, see, audio. If I click on audio, I went on uploads, I went on audio. Now I want something that's happy. All I need to write is write happy. It should give me the options. Okay. So yeah, happy. So you'll have multiple. And if I need to add this music, I just need to pick up this file and drag it and drop it here. And it will automatically. It'll automatically play according to what the duration of your creative is, which depends on, of course, your animation, etc. So this was one way. The other way is that you can select templates that are already video templates. So I go back to my first screen, which was my login. Yeah. And I search for nonprofit templates video. Yeah, so all of these are video templates. For example, let's go ahead with this one. I selected that template. I clicked on customize this template. And here is my video. Here again, let's say I edit my copy. I want to edit my image with something else. I want to showcase half of this image here somewhere. And this would already be a video that will play automatically. And you can keep editing your images, your text, and in a similar fashion, you can add music to it as well. Again, everything from adding your logo, I can add a logo to this file as well, and it'll stay through. If my file is uploaded here, I just need to keep adding my logo, and it'll stay through the whole creator. Yeah. Any questions on Canva? I know it does look a little overwhelming when you open it, but trust me when I say this, and I'm not a designer. I don't understand design software. I'm a client servicing person. I'm an accounts person. I'm a project management person. But everything that I do on Canva, I've learned it on my own. It is very, very interesting. The best part is even if you make a mistake, all you need to do is click delete or go back. There's a back button here. It'll go back to what you've done previously. So you can spend minutes, you can spend hours on Canva. And I'm very sure that, if you're clear with what type of visuals that you want to associate your brand with, I'm also quickly going to shift back to the PPT. And what type of messaging you want to put forward. Everything that you do on Canva is going to be very easy. And yes, Ashwini?
Shagun, I just wanted to add that Viba does have the Canva for nonprofits.
Okay.
And then the best feature that I found is you can have up to 50 teammates on your team.
Yes,
and
you can add people. Yes.
Yeah, and we can easily share. And then there's also a branding space where you can add your logos and all of that. So everybody, it's
Correct.
shared across the team. And that was the most useful thing that we found for Viba.
Yeah. Yeah. So for example, what Ashwini is saying, let's say if Peg and I are one team and we both have access to Canva, I've made a creative, but I want Peg's creativity as well. I want Peg to see and make edits. So I don't necessarily need to download it, send it to her as an image, ask her, do you like this? You don't like this? What do you want changed? I can send her that editable link because we're in the same team. We have access to the same account. And when she opens that link, she can make changes to that creative at her end. She doesn't necessarily have to wait to tell me that, Shagun, can you make these changes, or tell someone else. If she knows how to use Canva and she wants to make changes, she can make changes at her end and wrap up that particular process immediately. So a lot of back and forth can get reduced between teams with Canva. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, just a quick review of before we wrap up. Of course, one thing that's very, very important is to ensure that we need to make sure that all of our nonprofits have a very simple booklet of brand guidelines. When I say brand guidelines, it should cover, of course, our logos that we use through and through all our communication, not just on social media, but anything that happens through any other medium as well. The colors of our logo, something that we spoke about earlier, that if you're doing black and white, then we stick to black and white. If we're introducing a secondary color, then we should be very sure that this is the secondary color and this is the black and white logo, black or white logo that we use. Second, again, from a planning perspective, it is always beneficial if we plan a little bit in advance. Let's say, I understand sometimes planning for the whole quarter or a couple of months together might be challenging for some of us, but at least planning for a week and a half in advance. Like for me, sitting on a Tuesday today, I should definitely have some sort of idea, if not a clear picture as to what I want to put forward next week or the week after that. So in terms of ensuring that, if any one of you has a fundraising coming up soon, Plan backwards from that date, see that you have ample time to put forward your communication that we're holding a fundraising, we are doing certain events, or we're doing certain competition, or we're doing a meet and greet. Could be anything, any activity, any objective that you guys are doing. Give that communication, give that messaging ample amount of time on social media, so your followers, the people who are looking at your content, have enough time to get it registered that, okay, I understand that you're doing this, and you'll probably, send me reminders again, and they look forward to your content. Third is something that we just discussed, is that definitely go ahead and use tools like Canva. In case you're not able to register your nonprofit, the free version also works really well. There are very limited things that get blocked out of the free version. Yes, Rohit?
Shagun, I have a question.
Yes.
So my question is, what should be the ideal time frame to run a campaign? It should be a week time, 2 weeks, or a month.
Okay, so Rohit, that would actually depend on the type of campaign. For example, I'll give you real life examples, best for everyone. For India Giving Day, we take a lead time of anywhere between 5 to 6 months, because we know that what we're going after is huge, right? We're not raising $100, $200. We're looking at raising funds that are probably in million of US dollars, right? Within one set day. So we want to ensure that we start at least 5 to 6 months in advance, where we not only engage our current set of audience, but we also ensure that we keep building on the audience. Because not at any given point of time, I will have everybody in the universe that I want to target on my page, right? Organically, also, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn will show your content to only 50 to 60% of people that actually follow your page. If 100 people are following your page, not all 100 of them will see your content organically. If it's an event, if I have an event, let's say if I have a webinar or I have a fireside chat, then that is something that, depending on the largeness of the event, if it's something that's, that's gonna get recorded, we're gonna publish it online, we don't need a lot of live audience. Anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, telling people that, we're having this fireside chat, we're having an event, we don't need any registrations, but we want you to be aware and just look out for us in the future. If you're having an on-ground event, depending on if you think that if the audience that you're going after needs to travel, is not within that area that you're holding your event, then probably a month or two in advance is a good timeline. If you're having an online event that you want people to register for, then again, a couple of weeks to a month is a pretty good timeline. Yeah, Rohit, does that answer
Okay.
your question?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yes, getting back to Canva. So, like I was mentioning, that in case any one of you are not able to go through the paid version or not able to go through the non-profit version, the free Canva version also works beautifully well. It has multiple options, especially for nonprofits, multiple images, colors, free music, elements that you can utilize to create static post and, short videos or GIFs. And the last thing is something that I think I've said it a lot of times during the call, is that whatever we do or whatever we say, we just have to make sure that we're consistent. It can't be like let's say we have a Facebook page and we are posting only once a month. Once a month is not a good option for any one of us, right? Unless it's our personal profile and we don't want to be active. For a brand profile, specifically for a nonprofit, posting at least once or twice a week is recommended. So, in totality, there should be at least 6 to 8 different communication pieces, could be about the same thing, could be about different things, that should go out on your brand handles. Minimum 6 to 8 pieces. It could be as simple as a quick update, something from the founders, something from the board members, any videos that you have of, your on-ground activations or the impact that your nonprofit has created. It could be a snippet of that video with just a small message that, this is what we do. If you want to support us, follow us for more updates. Doesn't necessarily have to be campaign related communication. Yeah. And of course, experimenting in terms of visuals, in terms of what you say and how you say it, in terms of doing different type of, if you're into doing events, if your nonprofit is heavier on doing events online on offline, just try a mix of everything. Invite people to, come to your event, cover your session live, or give them a shout out if your community has done something for you, if they've helped you with XYZ things. So always keeping in mind, of course, different ways of what we're saying can be put forward. Also ensuring that we're engaging with our community. Because at the end of the day, if we're doing organic posting, if we're doing things without a paid push on social media, it's very important that we keep putting content and we keep putting good and relevant content that we want our readers to know about us. Yeah. This does bring
Okay.
me to the end of the deck. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
And we just, to be mindful, there are beautifully timed, Shagun. You've answered the questions as they've popped up, and we've just got 3 minutes left until 11 o'clock. But yeah, anyone have a burning question? And it has been recorded. It will be posted on YouTube. Might take a few days to frame it and make it right for public consumption. But any questions before we wrap up? Swati.
Swati. Hi, Swati.
Hi, Shagun. Thank you so much. This was super helpful. And just one question because we're running short on time, so I'll be very precise. Besides Canva as a nonprofit, are there any other marketing assets or resources that you would recommend that we should look out or use, whether it's just about creating digital assets or it's about researching? Like one question I had put across, like, are there any places that we should research? Our hashtags, for example. So are there, as a marketing essential aspect, that besides Canva, what else should we look out for? Thanks.
Canva, definitely from a designing perspective, is great. There is also Adobe Express that you all can sign up on. That again, from a design or a AI design perspective, works great. You can use the same login between team members. And for basic research, of course, a manual research, you can go on Facebook, etc., write the hashtag. You'll see how many people have used that hashtag. But apart from that, we have some great AI tools in the market right now, which most of us can access for free. ChatGPT, certain version is free, there's no restriction. Gemini, certain versions free, no restriction. And that now what within the free version as well, there's an option for you to search. So you don't necessarily have to go ahead with the data that these LLMs already have. If you click on that search option and say that, can you please help me with relevant hashtags for a nonprofit based out of Dallas, whose target audience is any Indian American within the age group of, let's say, 15 to 20 years, just a very hypothetical situation. And they'll actually give you results basis a quick search. And if you're skeptical, you can of course do a manual search quickly as well. But it's been working out great for us. Some of us also use the paid version. So in case anyone wants to opt for it, most of the AI platforms now have that search facility. So you don't have to necessarily sit and research, and something that you would have probably done in 3 to 4 hours is done in like 5 minutes these days in terms of research. And of course, a quick cross check is always recommended. Like, please don't follow anything that the AI gives you blindly. There's a reason why we are managing the tool and the tool's not managing us, is because we do have the upper hand of ensuring that whatever information they're giving us is correct and is relevant for us. So a couple of minutes of cross-checking, you'll have your answers and they'll work perfectly well for you. They've been working very well for us.
Shagun, there's a question from Monica. Are there any recommendations for editorial calendar platforms?
So, Monica, what exactly do you mean by editorial calendar platforms? Can you explain that to me?
Just for planning, so planning, say the month, what's coming up and what we would like to post, say for the next month. So any
Could
kind
you
of
give
platforms.
an overview of what would work well? Like
Yeah,
a project management platform of sorts?
I guess it would work like a project management platform. Currently, what we're doing is we do extensively use spreadsheets set up very specifically for our needs. So it ends up being sort of our project management tool, which has been working quite well because it helps us keep track. Again, being a nonprofit and multiple players in the picture, it helps to keep everybody on track, and also give everyone an overview. So it helps us that way. So we're sort of in a good space right now. But I was wondering if there's anything out there that we may have missed researching or looking into.
So with project management tools, Monica, unfortunately or fortunately for the brands, most of them are paid
Right.
because it's something that they're helping you out with, right? So I've actually dropped a list in chat. These are the four tools that Gutenberg has also experienced with, and we know that they work. They do have a paid subscription. You might be able to use them for free for a limited amount of time. But let's say if you only want to manage solely social media calendars, nothing else, there's nothing else apart from just social media calendars or a posting schedule, then Hootsuite would work the best. They
Right.
also get linked to your Facebook, Instagram, etc., and you can schedule posts from there. You don't necessarily have to go to the different platforms. Asana works more from a project management, a Gantt chart related perspective, that if you have multiple timelines overlapping with projects, you have a deadline to meet something, Asana, Trello would be the best for that. And Monday works really well from a day-to-day task keeping perspective. Like individual people come together with their daily task list to ensure that XYZ things are done on time.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for those recommendations, and thank you for the talk.
Welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Shagun. Really, really valuable, not only to everybody who was able to join us today, but for the video that'll be available
Yes.
in perpetuity. It will. I mean, there'll be multiple India Giving Days and other campaigns where people will be
Absolutely.
able to refer back. So that's wonderful. Okay, thank you to everyone who joined.
Everyone,
And
you've all been great. Thank you, Peg. Thank you, Alex, for putting this together for us.
yeah, thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone.